Welcome to Pitch, connecting storytellers with the world. For today's episode, we're going to finish our chat with our friend Adam Sinclair. Adam is an actor who has appeared on the TV shows Rizzoli and Isles and 24, amongst many others. He's opened a flight school in the past few years and has recently been developing a program to help train people from historically underprivileged communities how to fly. He's been shopping this program as a television series that follows people from having absolutely zero experience in a cockpit, all the way to becoming certified airline pilots. We pick up where we left off last episode with Adam giving his thoughts on exactly where a pitch needs to be by the time you sit down with the decision makers. Let's jump right in.
By the time you're sitting in front of somebody who's going to write a check, it has to be so fucking lean. Like just lean, just like it's like a laser of an idea.
What define lean for your project? What are your 3 bullet points for this pitch? When that person has the pen in hand.
So we can I'll talk about generally for both.
Yes.
For both drama and docu-series or documentary or reality, whatever you want. Reality has a bit of a tarnished tang to it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Decide your narrative. So is your narrative the story? Or is it the person or the character? Once you decide that, push into that. If it's about a place, then you need to explore that place. Let's push into that. That's the bit you're going to spend the most amount of time on. The statistics backing up to get to them and why you want to follow these people or follow that place, they're 1-sentence bullet points. It's like what I said. What was I saying when I started? 3.2%. World's pilots are African American. 3.4% of the world's pilots are women. That was my opening. That was it.
Just the statistics.
Those 2 statistics, and that's what. And then the Martin Luther King quote right after that, and that was it. Boom, 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 boom. They were in. They were bought.
Yeah, we know where we're going
with
that stuff.
I'd bought them. And then when I did my character based, my pilots who were going to be the trainees, it was made up. So I was kind of going in the heartstrings and the sort of things. But we will be looking for people in genuine situations who do need to break. But yeah, and as I said, basically my whole end to the whole thing was 2 statistics.
It's amazing. Simplicity, that's lean.
Those are powerful statistics. I think when your story leans towards something that has that massive backing to it, it does kind of sell itself.
That sells itself because it's real.
Yeah.
It's real and it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
And so it's real, and so it automatically gets the hair in the back of your neck up, and you're like, oh, I want to change that. I'll watch that show just to change that. Mm-hmm. You know, it makes you. I'll give you $1 towards making the show. But it does that. And so if you can come in with something that lean and that powerful for a drama, it's like she's a tartan cow flying through the air with laser beams that come out of her horns.
This is also an amazing idea.
But she's trying to find her lost daughter.
But she's trying to find her lost daughter, yeah.
In the whole of outer space.
Who has Tourette's.
And the trick is that of all the cows in the universe, tartan cows are only 1% of the cow population.
1% of the cow population, yeah.
And 100% of all tartan cows.
And they make chocolate milk.
They make chocolate milk, right? 100% of the tartan cows are missing their sons, but this one cow is missing her daughter.
See, you've gone too far. See there, you've ruined us now.
I bogged it down, yeah.
You bogged it down. If you just stuck with the tartan cow flying through the air with laser beams coming out the horns, we would have been fine. We would have had a full...
pitch on the fly.
But seriously, it is. It's about getting down to that. It's about getting down to a bullet point.
Yes.
And then beyond that, further bullet points. And then visual. We're working in a visual format.
Nobody's going to read people are going to read scripts, but their assistants or their readers
So it was
first.
my kid's 12th birthday yesterday. My brother
happy birthday, Quinn.
Happy birthday, Quinn. So my brother calls me and he's like, I'm thinking about getting this book. It's a book when I read when I was 12. I'm really into it. I can't remember what he said. I could look it on my phone. Anyway, and I joked back to my brother, how many pictures does it have in it? Now, it was a joke, but even as adults, if there's pictures in a book, we'll go, oh, look at that work. Or we'll gravitate towards it because it's an instant transmission of an idea, right? It's an instant transmission of idea. Yeah. So that's why I was saying, don't just go on the internet and pull up standard pictures that people have seen 1,000 times. Spend time, make them, choose pictures that tell how you want your TV show or your movie to look. Go to other TV shows and do screen grabs. If you want your movie to look like the bloody
Yes.
Matrix, do screen grabs from the Matrix.
That's why I hired an artist who drew individual things for me to convey ideas. And
Yeah,
Kosuke's
original
great at
art,
that.
yeah.
Original art by Kosuke, yeah.
But again, there's no such thing as an original idea. Think how many movies, television shows, documentaries are out there, how many DOPs, how many lighting guys have spent hours and thousands of time studying what you're trying to say the same thing. We all got high definition televisions. Find that movie, find that freeze that frame, take that picture, steal it, put it on your pitch deck.
Yeah.
You're not going to get done for it. It's not copyright.
Yeah.
It's not going out. You're not selling it.
Yep.
You're using it to sell an idea.
And this is what's so interesting is we are in a visual medium. Pitch decks are all visual. The film is going to be visual. It's going to depend on those images. And it's what the difference between a pitch deck and a series Bible. Like a series Bible can have all the words in it and that comes later.
Totally.
That pitch deck.
Less
it's like
writing, more pictures.
12 solid images with minimal writing. That's a pitch deck.
Right. Or whatever. I tried to do, like, if I had a statement, there's a picture to back up that statement.
Yeah.
If I had a little bit of, if there was a person, I'd have that person with a little bit of bio. I tried to do their bio a bit more like this week on Netflix. Or if I did an episode idea, I did it just like it would pop up on the Netflix
Right.
thing. I kept it to a visual format that everybody is familiar with every single day of their lives.
So it looks like something that already
It looks
exists.
like it looks like something already exists.
Yeah.
If you show them, if you're like, hey, it's a show about the circus, and you show a picture of Moulin Rouge or something within them recognizes that picture, goes, oh, I totally get this.
Yeah.
Because you're picking the feel of that moment. So pick stuff that they're going to recognize. Don't shy away from that.
So show them the world. Like show
them your world
the
based on the
world.
ideas that you're stealing.
So I have your pitch deck up. And I think this is important for the audience because I'm always looking for a template by which to make the thing that I need to make. So what goes into a pitch deck? People might not know, or they might have a loose idea of it. You have 18 pages. You have some solid images on here, and it is minimal writing.
And some pages are like a picture and a sentence of 4 words.
Yeah, you have the title. That's 1 page.
1 page.
The title. That's it. And then you have your stats with an image. And then you have a little more stats with an image. It's very minimal. And then you have your quote by Martin Luther King. And then you go into your students. And you go into kind of what the cast will look like. And then you have...
Because I knew it was going to be people driven, so that's where I put the most amount of focus in. It was like I knew it was going to be character driven.
Yeah, so it's...
That's who you're rooting for.
Yeah.
The flight school's going to be there anyway. That's the backdrop. That's always going to be there. So you don't need to push that.
Yeah. And then you have your episodes and the crew, locations. It's image packed.
How did you find the people who put this latest iteration of your pitch deck together?
Working with them, it was me, a producer, and a guy who makes pitch decks for a living.
Yeah, how did you find that guy?
Great, because he does it. He knows the format. He's using, I forget what the name of the program he uses is, but it's something we don't necessarily use. Everybody puts everything together on like a Word program or Pages. He had some kind of design program, layout program, which gave him access to borders and things like that, and color tones and palettes and things like that, which is nice. He also had a great photo bank that he knew to go to and pull stuff up.
No, but I mean, like, how did you get connected with them?
Oh,
Did your reps? Sorry.
The guy who I'm working with, David, he's in the advertising world for a lot of years. And he's done advertising from McDonald's to Nike to, real money and real.
Was it a friend connected you?
David Frankham. I've known David Frankham for 24 years. Okay. He's married to my wife's best friend.
Oh.
And so we've just been friends for years, and this just seemed like a project perfect for us to get together on. And
he knew this guy from the advertising world.
He knew them from the advertising world. They use this guy all the time.
So he's in advertising. So he specifically works with people selling and marketing.
That's so smart.
Pitch decks.
So it's not like a fly-by-night. Oh, hey, I'm a writer or a director, and I know what a pitch deck should be. This is a professional
pitch deck maker
who does it on the highest level.
I have his number. His name is Scott. No, I'm joking. Yeah, he is. That's what he does. And
That's cool. That's
and
great.
you can find those guys out there. I mean, you can advertise it. There's loads of guys that do it. And the thing is they do it so, and they're not that expensive, but they know they'll do 5 a week.
Yeah.
And they'll charge 500, 600, 700 bucks, maybe $1,000.
Yeah.
But if that's your biggest first outlay for your calling card, Spend the money there.
For real. And it's different. So the pricing is different. If they're only pulling images, it's a lower price. But if they're handcrafting, like Kosuke draws everything, it will be a higher price for our audience to know.
I wonder where, I'm good. I wonder where on the spectrum of AI generated artwork.
Well, that's happening now, and that's going to happen massive. Yeah. The AI, I actually did use AI because ChatGPT just came out, and when I was coming up for, that's what I did as well. I was trying to come up with characters. And I have students that work at the school, and I was like, I don't really want to exploit them. There's no reason to exploit anybody or anything just now, you know. Even if it was exploitation, it was just like, how do I come up with characters? And I didn't want to make the soap story that pulls on the heartstrings too much because it was just manufactured. So I literally went to AI and it says, give me 5 characters from an underprivileged, diverse background who are competing in a TV show training to become pilots under the PPL program.
That was the full prompt?
That was the prompt.
Okay, and how are the results?
It basically gave me the basic bones of my...
And then you went in and fine-tuned it.
Yeah, you can like iterate and fine-tuned it.
Yeah. And it's like, Brian, he's got a kid. And honest, swear to God, it gave me 5 biographies of the 5 students.
That's wild.
Wow.
And then I went in and I fine-tuned it.
But these were words, these weren't images, right?
And you know what, and the only reason I did it, because it was the one thing that because everything else about my pitch deck is real.
Yeah.
It's all facts.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that isn't facts. And so I couldn't make it up. But it was very hard for me to make it up and go, yeah, tell some terrible, horrible story and then just get the tone of it all wrong. So ChatGPT, that's helped me.
That's unreal. I've actually used Midjourney, one of the other ones, to do some images for a feature project that I'm coming up with, to do storyboards and like character.
It's great for that.
And the images that it comes up with, if you iterate, if you have the time to sit there and iterate and refine your prompts, they're breathtaking, in my opinion. And the accuracy with which you can get, you're like, oh, this was, you know, I did 30 different images in 25 minutes or in an hour. Like the cost that you would pay an artist to do that would be hundreds of dollars.
Well, I wrote a children's book during COVID.
Oh, yeah. Wait, tell us the title.
The title is The Legend of the Frog and the Barking Spider. And it's on Kindle. And it's basically a book about everybody in lockdown and the whole family starts farting and they can't try.
This is a true story.
And it's a true story. And they make up the legend of the frog and the barking spider to hide it from the youngest child, who eventually finds out that they were lying to her, but in fact they weren't, because she meets the frog and the barking spider. Was it a dream? Wasn't it a dream? You'll never know, unless you read the book. Anyway, but I wanted to get some cover art done for it, because I put it on Kindle. You can download it on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. And I went to Japan. I can't remember the name of the site I used. But basically, it worked like ChatGPT. I found an artist in Japan. I sent him a prompt of what I wanted it to be. And I was like, can you do me a picture? The title is The Frog and the Barking Spider. The frog plays a trumpet at some point. He has a hat on. The spider has to have a big smile, blah, blah. There's just a ChatGPT prompt, basically. And he came back with some artwork, and I was like, okay, a couple of notes on it. And he came back, and I went, okay, that'll do. And it never quite was there where I wanted it to be, but I was like, it got to that point, I was like, yeah, that'll do. $80 I paid for that, and that was just for one piece of cover art. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought that was incredibly cheap. Yeah. I thought, this guy did this artwork for me for $80. Now...
I know.
You can go into this thing and you could do... It's insane. Well, here's what I realised, and what I'm probably going to start doing next. I'm going to record the audiobook of it first. But I realised I can get the whole book graphically done. I can get the whole illustration done and actually put it out and print it now. So...
But that's what's important about what we're talking about right now is this is the bottom line price of a good pitch deck, $500. If our audience is poor, like I have been desperately poor in my life as an artist and haven't been able to afford, $500 is a lot of money. $40 for Midjourney for a month, way cheaper.
Yeah, and
different results.
Yeah, and if you have the time, if you find a good template,
like,
hey, I like this pitch deck that I found, I want to emulate this. You can theoretically spend your time and come up with something that's plausibly, going to get your foot in the door and get your message across.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I've noticed, especially in this town. Somebody comes up with an idea to make a documentary or a TV show. And so they think, the best thing then is to go out and buy a red camera or a sound equipment.
Right.
And it's like baby steps, baby steps, baby steps for everything, right? And so is there any... Now, I had the finances to make a pitch deck. I knew the show was onto something. CA had picked it. I thought, okay, I'm in here. So I found $500 to get whatever way I found it, whether it's out of my own pocket or whatever, but I made it happen. So yeah, it can be quite a lot of money for someone. So there are these processes where you can get illustration done, you can use all the... Don't go and blow it. Do a little... I guess I'm saying don't act unless there's something to act for, right? So do a little bit, see what traction you get. If it gets traction, then yes, invest a little bit more. It's like investing in anything. It's like going for a job interview and investing in a suit.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. But invest when the moment's right. There's no point seeing an advertisement for a job in the newspaper and going and buying a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, because I've given my scripts to any number of producers or production companies. Not everybody comes back to me with, hey, do you have a pitch deck? Mostly it's just silence, nobody gets back to you. So don't expend your wallet or your energy into something that's not necessary yet. A pitch deck, it doesn't take too much time to do if you're doing it through Midjourney. It takes a little bit more time if you're doing it through an artist.
I think, so my process is I'm trying to get together with a production company right now to put together, or my initial idea was to get together with a production company to, one, either take it on as a full project and we get into production, or two, help me make a pilot or a sizzle reel, and then we go to a network and see if we can sell it. Either way, it was going, they were the intermittent people between them and the network to try and sell it. That's getting them to commit to something. You're trying to get them to commit to something really early on there, and so it was worth spending the money.
Yes.
It was worth spending the money there at that point. Definitely.
Yeah. I want to bring up something that I was reading about George R.R. Martin. He talked about the quality of ideas and his take on it. And I mean, you can kind of tell by Game of Thrones. He's like, any idea is fine, but ultimately, it's the execution of an idea that, in his opinion, in this particular interview, makes something sink or swim, which is kind of antithetical to how this town works. This town is very, what's the concept, what's the idea? And if it doesn't pop, ping, or sing, then it's pretty easily dismissed. Mm-hmm. But again, we have one of the great novelists and one of the greatest TV shows of the last 15 years as a result of this philosophy of, well, it's how you do a thing. And this is a particular camp I fall into, but I'm just curious what your take on that is, because you've now got quite a train running with an idea that was super fresh and fun and everybody responded to. What do you think about the contrary? It's like, well, it's how well you do a thing. How do you think people would respond to a thing well done that may not be as sterling conceptually? So
look, I have two thoughts on that, and again, documentary world and theatrical world. It's like, so what's the show, Girls?
Yeah.
So Girls was a not a podcast, a YouTube show, and it was caught the attention of.
What's his name?
Goodness.
Freaks, the guy who did
Freaks and Geeks, yes.
Yeah.
Apatow.
Yes.
Caught the attention of Apatow, and Apatow brought it up, and he's like, this needs to be seen, this girl was funny, she's a good writer, let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Not
a high concept idea.
Not a high concept idea. Is it worth going out there and just doing it, or is it worth waiting, I guess is the question you're asking me. That's a hard place I've fallen into right now. I don't think it's worth just doing it. I think it's worth just doing something which is a contribution towards the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. I always say, if you're making a short film, have a bigger film ready to go based on the same concept. If you're making a sizzle reel, make your sizzle reel hella good. Or if you want to make something and you don't have the money to make it good, go make a sizzle reel. Make something for a fraction of the cost, but at the level you want it to be seen.
Yeah.
If you don't have any money to make anything, plagiarize all your scenes from every single movie you've ever watched and take them all out and go, that's the sequence of that's the movie.
Yeah.
If your scene is a gunfight and you want to own what's it, cyan blue, and it was the Michael Bay colors. Steal it.
Oh, teal
steal
and
it.
orange, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. But steal it. Steal those concepts. Just get the visual idea across.
And
I don't think go make it and sell yourself short. I went to see a film that a friend made the other day. You're not going to release what date this is because I know who it is. No, it wasn't a great film, but the script was really good. And I was watching it, the whole thing, going, "Oh my god, the script is really good. Oh my god, why did you make it? You should have held out.
Oh wow,
there was no point making it like this script because it was based on a true story." So the more bizarre it got, and I knew it was a true story, the more I was like, oh God, okay. So why did you make it?
What was your rush?
What was your point? Because were you getting a buyout deal? Did you have a distribution deal? Mm-hmm. Was it going to go somewhere? Mm-hmm. Or were you just making it because everybody's ego got impatient?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. Why are you making a thing?
Why are you making it? Are you making it because you're not doing anything? You're like...
I had a mentor once say to me about a story idea I was going to write. He goes, why does all of America need to see... If you make this into a movie, why is this the one film that everyone in America should see this year? If this is the only film that all 350 million people in America can see, or why must they see it, Angel? And until you can answer that question, I don't think you should be committed to writing this.
Style... story, or I forgot the third one. But that's the reason they'll come see it, because it's breaking a new style. It's a story that's never been told, or it's got IP, and that's either a famous actor or attached to a book or so.
Just real quick, for our audience that doesn't know what a sizzle reel is, it's a series of images that tells a narrative that is the mood of your film, and it's anywhere from 20 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes. It's also called a mood reel.
Commercial, almost
it's
a trailer.
Yeah. But it's not of original images.
No.
You would take images from TV shows and movies that already exist, that approximate the look and the tone of your story, and edit them together to music or to sound to recreate voiceover to recreate a 20-second to 2-minute video that gives someone an idea of what your film would be like.
Or you can make this as a rule where you go and shoot the commercial for your show.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
you shoot the trailer. What
that
that does give you, which is harder, a little bit more expensive, but if you look, we all work in the industry. If you're making a documentary, you're making a TV series right now, there's probably you've been in the business for a few years. So you're surrounded by sound people, you're surrounded by camera people, you're surrounded by people who are going to help you out. Use that and make it, if you're going to shoot a sizzle reel for yourself, make it the best quality, make that as close to you want the finished product you can. I don't think there's any point sending out there a cine film, something that's slumped together, or a home video recorder with a voice over the top. There's a famous story, I'm going to go slightly off track. There's a famous story with George Lucas taking everybody over to see the first cut of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I've heard this.
And he had none of the TIE fighter scenes in it, and it was just all war footage of fighter planes.
Oh, World War II footage, yeah.
Yeah. And Spielberg was just like, dude, I don't see it. What are you doing? This is going to kill you. This is going to... And sure enough, we now live in the Star Wars era.
Was it Brian DePalma who was like, hold on, you've made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
He's like, hold on. He like stayed after with Lucas and was like, bro, we got to talk because this is not...
Yeah, they like sat him down. It's like, dude, nobody will see the picture in your head. This is why books are amazing, because we all got a different story.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing for me, is like, no one will see the picture in your head.
No one. And don't think...
Which is why writing is so difficult. Liz Hannah talked about that. The picture in your head into black and white symbols on a page, and then another person interprets that in their own filters. Like, how do you get the shortest, most reliable way to get someone to see what's in your head in their head?
But that's...
Images.
Totally images. And in the order of things that happen is, and this is a little loose, you write your script... You send your script out. They're going to ask you for a pitch deck. I think a sizzle reel and a pitch deck work in tandem nowadays.
Yes.
So if you're going to have a pitch deck, go ahead and make a sizzle reel, because I guarantee half the people in the room who are going to read the thing, the other half are going to want to watch it.
Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier, and I kind of lost my chain of thought. But I was trying to get together with a production company that were going to help me put together a sizzle reel, and then we would go forward as a group to a production company or a network and say, here's a sizzle, here's a show, do you want to team up with us? We're all going to make it.
Exactly.
Now the documentary world is a lot more forgiving in terms of shooting something in terms of tone and things like that. So where we've actually fallen now is we're actually thinking of just, because it's such a good idea, and because of the people who it's sort of feeding to, there's a lot of room for funding for this thing. So you've got Boeing who need to get rid of money, you've got Southwest who need to get rid of money, American Airlines.
Spirit doesn't need to get rid of any money.
But true. But all those companies need to be seen to be helping out what it is we're trying to do. So for them to fund an entire season for us is a bit of a no-brainer for them. It's just selling them the concept, or at least them funding a pilot episode. So we can set the price of that pilot episode at whatever we want.
Yeah.
Which they do. I've reached out to airlines to fund stuff.
Yeah, but his show is specifically about.
They get back to they.
They
well,
have
really?
They have programs for bringing diversity into the airline business, but not at my level. They only start at the level where I take them to. There's nobody doing at the level of taking them from zero to ready to go. They take them from ready to go training and have diversity programs. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm helping you out here.
Yeah,
I'll give you a feeder program into your. Now this is what I want to do for my charity, but then. How much do you pay for advertising? What does that get you? Okay, so this is something I'm going to talk about next, which is another avenue. Anyway, how much do you pay for advertising? How many heads is that reaching? How much is that costing you per year? Okay, here's what we're going to get with Showtime. Here's what we're going to get with blah, blah. Just fund the show.
Yeah.
So I recently tapped into public television.
Oh, yeah, PBS.
So public television don't give you money to make anything.
Yeah.
But they'll give you the airtime. Now I may be off my facts here a little bit. This is talking with other producers and things like that, so it could be a little bit off by a fraction. But the more people I speak to, that's kind of how it works.
Keep it loose.
You come up with a concept, you go to them and you sell the concept to them. They say, "That's great. We're going to give you Friday night at 7:00 every Friday night. This is how many people Friday night at 7:00 hits. These are statistics of who those people are. This is the age range. Blah 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 blah. That equals X amount in advertising dollars if it was just based on the numbers. Just based on the numbers and the ages and age blah blah blah. So then you go to Boeing and you say, how much do you pay for advertising? We put an advert on Showtime once a month and we pay and it's hitting this many people. What if we can match that number? There's stats, there you go, there's the brochure. Do you want to fund our show? And they're like, oh great, that's advertising dollars, yeah, of course. And then you go back to Showtime and go, okay, we've got the money. And like, all right, let's make the show.
That's so smart.
So you're selling the show before you've got the money to make it. Whereas in the commercial world, now let me get that right. You're selling the show to the network and then you're getting the money to make it. Whereas in the commercial world, you're selling the show to get the money to make it. This other way, you're splitting the process up a little bit. You're finding the advertising dollars for the company or for Showtime. Whereas if you, so PBS, but if you go through Showtime, they're finding, it's so complex. Anyway, it's just a great way of doing it, and it's a whole world, and you're actually hitting a lot of statistics. You've got to actually think about what PBS does. It's going into everybody's home. There's a lot of people who've got TV playing all the time. They're constantly looking for content. They're short of content. They need good content. And so the chances of getting in there are way higher than any other, as long as it's something that fits. I mean, you're not going to go in there and you're not going to make Evil Dead 5, right? But you will get in there with a...
Leah might
I might
make
make
Evil
it
Dead
for
5.
PBS.
Evil Dead 5 on PBS. But you'll get in there with a cooking show, you'll get in there with a reality show, you'll get in there with a period costume drama, you'll get in there with, there's a certain format of shows they're looking for, but it's an avenue not to pass up.
Now, because you're talking about documentaries, and I think some of our audience should be interested in documentaries because why not? They're easier to produce.
Well, now we're all about to go on strike. I mean, I don't know how time sensitive this podcast is, but
yeah, strike tomorrow maybe.
And so the reality world is going to ramp up in the next few weeks, at least for a while.
Yeah, so now is a good time, I think, to start this. But you have programs. What's so interesting about documentaries, because I have a background in documentary. I worked at Brave New Films. I worked with the Gantz brothers. I worked with Vincent at Life is My Movie. You have grant programs that are funding documentaries. You have Sundance, who is always very supportive of documentaries. In fact, they have their 2024 producers track open right now for people, and I think the application is either free or $40. Ken Burns is supporting documentary filmmaking right now. Like, I think it's a really good way to tell stories.
It's a great format because it's very forgiving. You can shoot it on anything.
Yeah.
People will watch anything. Watch any format if it's factual, as long as your sound is good. Make sure your sound is good.
I was going to say, you have to make sure your sound is good, and I know that you're a stickler for that.
Make sure your sound is good, but you can shoot anything. The saleability of it is bigger than horror films. Mm-hmm. Horror films have a big saleability because there's a niche audience and they'll watch any sort of gore for the
worldwide, across the world, yeah.
But documentary, again, if it's a topic, they'll watch it in any language, they'll watch it in subtitles, mm-hmm. They'll watch it if the subject is good. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something worth watching. Otherwise, what was the point of shooting it in the first place? It's going to relate to, and as you say, worldwide, it's going to relate to a certain group of people. It's an easy sale.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, get a camera, have good sound.
There you go. Off to the races.
There you go. Angel and I are both doing a documentary separately together right now.
What's your tagline?
So many documentaries.
Sell it to me in one line. 2 quotes.
I got it. My friend Nathan's grandfather fought in World War II, took a flag from a Japanese soldier that he shot, and said, "I never want it translated while I'm alive." Put it in a drawer for 77 years. Nathan inherited it and is trying to find the family to bring it back to.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
You need to get that shorter, though. You need to get that
I know, yeah.
Shorter.
There's a lot of elements to it.
Good, I like it, though.
He's got notes.
I've got notes on that pitch, but you do need that pitch. You need that pitch shorter.
But that's one that Vincent's...
World War II, untranslated flag, an inheritance.
An inheritance.
A story to be told.
It's called The Return. Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
then Angel's doing one. But you don't have your pitch ready for that
No, I mean,
yet.
well, I'm doing 2, but I'll talk about 1. So regardless of how excellent a script is in Hollywood, the process of getting a movie made is next to impossible.
Impossible.
The statistics are probably skew impossible across the board.
Oh, yeah.
Even though the hundreds of movies get made a year, like, there are tens of thousands of scripts.
It's an arena for hopeful gamblers.
So I am documenting one filmmaker, Leah, with her excellent script.
Pietro Delamore.
And the process of her attempting to get that made, which the odds are stacked against her. She's a female. Mm-hmm. It's
I'm over 40.
It's not a superhero movie.
Nope. Magical realism.
The lead character is a woman in her late 30s, early 40s.
This isn't sounding hopeful for my acting career.
This is like not a high concept, but it is an excellent story and an excellent script, and I think people should see how difficult it is to get excellent things made.
Filmed in a foreign country.
It is crazy. Yep. It is absolutely crazy, and nobody wants to touch, an original. I think the one thing we can take away from this pitch, no matter how original your idea is, make it sound like they've seen it before.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing you can take away from this.
We've had many people say that on the podcast. They're like, they have to think that it's existed before. They need to know that it will make their money back. And the only way they know that is if there's other stuff out there that exists.
Well, then it's like Midnight in Paris, but female and in Italy.
You want them going,
yours is,
Oh, yeah. That's all you want to hear in the pitch meeting.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah. That's all you want to hear.
That's like the bare minimum of what you need to hear. If you don't hear that, then you might be in trouble.
If you don't hear that, then just leave.
Yeah. But if you do that, and I've even noticed with like friends and stuff, there's a moment where your idea either catches their imagination or it doesn't.
And the one you don't want to hear is, okay. Okay.
Well, we should coin it. It's, what is that moment called? The oh yeah moment?
The oh yeah moment.
You want the oh yeah moment.
If you get an okay geared towards no yeah, if it doesn't happen, it's been all okay. That's it. You just take the amount of okays you get, the amount of oh yeahs you get. More oh yeahs outweigh the okays. It's going to
do a spreadsheet. We got to come up with a Excel formula for that.
Yeah. Or they dodge the question entirely and just compliment something about you.
Now this is I'm off mic. This is interesting. So you're doing a podcast about pitching, specifically pitching.
Yeah.
In this town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because it is a.
He's just realized that an hour.
No,
and 10
I know
minutes
that.
ago.
No, I know that. I knew it was about the pitch, but I'm just like, it's such a crazy concept because as we discovered very quickly on, it's always evolving. That's the
Yeah.
thing about our
Yes.
industry. It doesn't know what the fuck it is.
It doesn't know what it is or what it wants, and it can't be a new idea because it has to be something that's sold in order for anybody to have any interest
So
in
you
it,
c-
unless you're self-funding.
what's the game my kid plays? Plant versus Zombies. It's like artists versus lawyers. It really is, and
Yeah.
that's pitching. How can you get a lawyer on your side
Or an accountant, right?
or an accountant? Yeah, a numbers person who thinks they know art is because they're into Star Wars or they're into. I'm into movies. I went to the cinema 12 times.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we've been studying this for our lives. We've devoted every ounce of our being to this.
So depressing. Like, we were talking with Tyler at your party last week, and he said he had a female friend of his who is an artist, who is a noted singer,
Songwriter.
and
Wrote
is
hits.
signed with a production company, one of the big ones, and they
Music
said
label.
a music label. Thank you.
Yeah.
They said if your next album doesn't perform this many numbers, we drop you. And it had like millions, but not enough, and they dropped her.
It was like they needed a 10 million and she did like 9, and they're like, too bad, so sad, see you later.
It blows my mind. Like, this is the quality of what art is. This is art versus numbers.
This is the intersection of creativity being a commodity and it needing to do business on that level.
Which is what Stephen talked about.
Look, there's a lot
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movements going on in the entertainment world right now. There's a lot of voices that need to be heard. There's a lot of voices that are getting answered. The unfortunate side, the part of it that irks me, is the people who are making the decisions about how we go about representing these voices are not doing it out of moral obligation, but more out of how do we maximize profit.
Which
And
is
how do I maximize myself?
How do I maximize profit? And so it's been approached. The solutions are being approached from the totally wrong angle.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the politics of it all right now because it's everybody knows it.
Yeah.
But artists dealing with numbers, it's just or number people or it's not it's not going to work. It's oil and water. It really is oil and water. But somehow we got to work out a way to make it work.
Yeah.
that's a thing where you're going to have your oh yeah moment. Oh yeah, that will work. But then you have, what are the numbers? And did anybody watch The Offer? How The Godfather was made?
No,
I haven't
I
seen
didn't
it
watch
yet.
it.
Oh
No.
man, there's this great battle
watch it.
for the head of the studio versus the head of financing, and they go at it because the head of financing is like, no, this has to be this way, and he's like, no, it has to be creative. It's a constant battle.
So funny.
Well, I think that's a good spot to kind of wrap things up.
Sure.
Was there anything you think that you haven't shared that people out there, the general audience, filmmakers, people in the entertainment industry, people who are thinking about coming to the entertainment industry?
I just have a commercial to do that I'm obligated to do and everything I do.
Yeah, crank it.
Beard mascara for men over 45. That is beard mascara. You know when you look young. Thanks. Sorry.
Beard mascara for men over 45.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I'm getting a little gray in my beard. I'm not over 45 yet, but I'm
I'll hook you
excited
up.
now
I'll
that
hook you
I've
up.
heard
I've
the
got a good
commercial.
link up. It's called Beard Mascara for men over 45. I'll get you some of that.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
No, do I have any advice?
I mean, you've shared so much. Like
I've
if
shared
you
a
don't,
lot.
it's-
I just like here's what bugs me about this thing. Don't spread yourself thin. Don't think by doing everything
Yeah.
is going to somehow something's going to break. Come up with a great idea. Focus on your craft that you do. Have a sideline. And put everything into those one or two or three things. That's it, and focus on those, and eventually it'll work.
When you say sideline, what
I
do you
mean a
exactly?
sideline of work, something that's nothing to do with your business.
Oh, so like life outside of what you're.
Just have a sideline of business that's nothing to do with what you do, that you're not relying on other people, that it's just a numbers game. It's like you show up, you do a bit of work, or
Gotcha.
you do it. Have a sideline because that'll keep you sane.
Yeah.
Take it out of the world. Focus on your craft, whatever your craft is. And then if you're trying to get a project going, stick with that project. Don't get 20 projects going. There's no point in having 20 projects. There's no way you can do 20 things at once. So
Yeah.
All right,
keep,
there you go.
keep it lean.
Keep it
That's
lean.
it. That's
There
it.
it
That's
Love
new,
it.
That's a quick
new
pitch.
tattoo.
That's a quick pitch.
Keep it lean.
Yes.
And that's for everything. Keep it lean. Nobody wants to hear your fucking bullshit.
Yes.
Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
It's a real pleasure. 2 weekends
fun.
in a row.
I love sitting and hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well,
I'll come on every week. We'll do this every week.
bring a bottle of wine down.
Next week's going to be about
Adopting kittens,
adopting kittens.
Oh God,
which I have some for adoption.
yeah, Leah wants to do her own commercial right now about adopting kittens.
Please adopt some kittens from my neighborhood. They're adorable. Adam already did.
Well, from Hollywood, I'm Angel.
And I'm Leah St. Marie.
Cheers, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for coming on, Adam.
Cheers.
Watch out for the tartan cow with the flashing horns.
If you want to reach out to Leah or myself, or find out more about Adam's flight school, we'll have information in the show notes. Thanks for listening. If you're on the fence about subscribing, know that a portion of all subscription fees go toward the nonprofit Young Storytellers, raising voices one story at a time. We here at Pitch support and stand in solidarity with the members of the WGA and everyone supporting their current fight for fair compensation and their rightful place in the future of film, television, and streaming content production. Head over to WGA.org to find out more and how you can support as well.